Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about bonds. What are bonds? Bonds actually debt of a corporation or a government. So basically you're technically the bank for these organizations so they can run their day-to-day operations, okay? So corporate bonds, that's basically bonds that can be from, let's say, Ford, GM, GE, all these different companies. They need money so they can build facilities, factories so they can make their product. They need to be able to do this so they can run and make more money for their shareholders. Government bonds, you're looking at, that can be US Treasuries, that can be government bonds from different governments like overseas. Generally, they pay a little bit less interest because historically the entire government has to fail in order for them to not be able to pay you. You look at municipal bonds, you're looking at bonds that are from local municipalities. That could be for schools, that can be for bridges, that can be just day-to-day operations just in your hometown. I'm going to go a little bit over what the differences are. For corporate bonds, they pay usually the most interest. Why? Because there's a higher chance that they may fail and not be able to pay you. So with that risk, they pay a little bit more of an interest. The interest they pay you is also taxable federal and state-wise. Government, let's say US government, because they're the least likely to not be able to pay you, they also pay the least amount of interest. That interest you have to pay taxes on federal-wise, but not state, which is good. Municipal bonds are good if it's a taxable investment account, and let's say you're in a higher tax bracket, because that income they pay is generally going to be federal and state tax exempt if it's from the state you're in. So for example, let's say it's a local West Virginia bond I should say. That bond, and let's say it's paying 5%, you would get that interest, and you're from the state of West Virginia, federal and state tax exempt. If someone from Ohio or Pennsylvania bought that same particular bond, they would get the interest federally tax exempt, but not state. So it's important to have not just your state, but you want to have other states too, because what's nice about that is some states pay a little bit more interest. So it's good to mix and match. But I want to go over a little bit of basics on what a bond, how it works. So for example, let's say it's a municipal bond, okay? Bonds are basically bought in $1,000 increments, okay? In these $1,000 increments, you know, the more money you give them, the more you're going to buy. So let's say you're buying one bond, for example. They're going to look at this company, in this case a municipality, and they're going to see what their credit rating is, just like a bank would look at your credit rating. The better your credit rating, the less you got to pay. The worse your credit rating, the more you have to pay. So let's say in this instance, after they look at their credit rating, they say, okay, we're going to pay 5% a year. And let's say they need, it's going to take them, let's say 15 years to pay you back, okay? So for the next 15 years, you buy this bond, you're going to get 5% a year every year until the bond matures. Once it matures, you get all your money back in one payment. That's the basics of a bond, whether it's federal, municipal, or even corporate. Thank you.